Hello everyone, welcome back to the Forge if you're returning, and if it's your first time, come on in and I've got a cool little video for you today. So let's jump into the game, and yeah, if you like degenerate ways of gaining advantages ahead of other players, I've got a very cool tip for you, so stick around and I will show you how to best spend the rubies that we were given very generously by the Faithless team today. So yeah, what happened today was we were obviously given our 1,000 gems, and I was very curious as how is the best way to spend it to power up my account as efficiently as I can. So to give you a bit of history, when the game first came out 5 long days ago, at some stage early on I was desperate for gold. I thought I have so many gems it doesn't matter, and I purchased the gold, and the main reason I didn't purchase the calendar was because I saw that they gave us 3 million on the last day, at which case most of the farming would be done and it costs more. So I kind of was going against my better judgment at the time. In the back of my head I was saying it's normally never the right call to buy these things. You could get more pulls, way more fun, or you could get way more energy refills, potentially could be better. So I wanted to figure out exactly today what was the best option and what is the best option for the next 1,000 gems we get. And then also to note, because we're coming into the calendar, the second half, we will be getting a lot of gems. So if you're interested in how to spend them to maximize your account in the beta, it's definitely worth taking a look. So what I'm going to do now, and it's definitely not my second time recording, is I'm going to jump in Excel that has my audio, and I'm going to talk you through what I did just to showcase the best way to spend your gems. So the data I pulled from, so what I did was I went into every stage 10 in each campaign map, and just took a note of the energy costs and then the gold and XP that I got from completing it, and also the gear sets. Just so I'm just highlighting Aru because this was my strategy when I farmed it. I didn't do the maths on it at the time, but it just felt the speed percent gear is so generally applicable and just generally valuable for all types of characters that it was probably the best place to farm, because no matter what percentage rolls I get, you can all place them on your tunes your characters, and if it's a defender they go more, which means they cycle through their defensives better. If they're an attacker they go faster and they cycle through their abilities, and it's worked quite well. I'm quite happy with it. I potentially would recommend this to anyone because Aru is quite easy to farm. Izumo Omeyokan is not that hard for my account now because it's quite leveled, and it's quite ahead. Tian also isn't that hard. Ecker is still probably a 50-50 because the AI and the wave setup in wave 3, I can absolutely see the AI just messing it up. And also the gear from here, accuracy flat and resistance flat, doesn't appeal to me. If you really want accuracy on a disabler, you can just roll it on the gloves or the helmet as a main stat and you get way more. So yeah, interestingly enough as well, the Ecker 10 gives you less XP. I have a feeling what's happening here is there's a bug and it's sharing XP with the gifted unit we get. So yeah, that's something to note, and if anyone from Faithless is watching it, because surprisingly they commented on my first ever video, potentially something to look into, but not that big of a deal. But yeah, so interestingly enough, as soon as you get to Aru, the XP jumps become less and less extreme. So while it is more efficient to farm, say, a Mayokan or Izumo, the gear you get out of it is not as appealing as Aru, so I will take the hit to get just general gear that I can widely apply to my roster and get massive benefits from. I also am farming Avalon 10 at the minute, just because I also wanted to show the difference. So the energy cost jumps up by 4, but you get a ton of more gold and a ton more XP. So as soon as you get to the higher stage of campaign and you can farm Avalon 10, definitely worth swapping out of story campaign and farming adventure. And I just wanted to show one dungeon. I'm pretty confident all the other dungeons are the same, just to showcase that you get no gold and no real XP from farming them. So early on in the account, when you're still thinking about pushing through campaign and getting stars, the only thing I would touch in dungeons is Ascensions, and that is until you get them to their passive and potentially 3 or 4 star if it's not a legendary. If it's a legendary, you can get them to 4 stars later on. But early on, you definitely just want to be stuck in campaign and just grinding out the XP and the gold so that you can power up your account and start tackling the higher and then more efficient campaigns later on. So yeah, what I did next was I just divided the cost of the energy it took by the amount of gold you generated to give the efficiencies. So as you can see, it's the same. The efficiency per energy does not change drastically here. So again, it's backing up my theory that Aru is the best. I'm happy to debate it with anyone in the comments if they think differently. But I don't see the benefit in getting an extra few hundred energy or XP per energy than losing out on the speed, just the general gear that you can apply on everyone. And then Avalon is a massive jump up, to be fair. The gold is, while it's more, it's not a crazy jump. The XP is definitely noticeable though. And as soon as you get here, it's worth farming. My current plan is to try and get Asgard 10 farmable, because I actually want to start farming crit percent gear so that my damage dealers can cap out on crit, and potentially that will give me a damage boost to jump through higher up into the campaign. And again, just did Hag's Hollow to show how awful the dungeons are for actually just growing your rosters and your account. But yeah, now for the meat and sauce of it. So what if you're spending your refills, if you're buying refills for 50 gems, the big tip here is that partial refills actually are the most efficient energy you can get in the game from spending your gems. You have to click probably more than you need to click to get a 6-star. But if this is these small wins, or small, it's not even a small gain, it's a massive gain. Over say 1,000 energy, you will generate a ton more, or 1,000 gems, you will generate a ton more energy, which you can then translate into farming campaign and getting more XP and more gear. But yeah, so how the full refills work is you get 100 energy plus your level. So I'm at 143. I just did some different breakpoints. So level 30, 130, level 20 is 120, and level 10 is 110. So what I've done here then is I've basically, how much energy would I get for the refills? So for the 2,000 gem deals, I would have got 4,400 energy. And what would have happened if I pumped this all into Aru? I did do this a few nights in a row. I just left it on, prayed the game didn't crash, and if it didn't, I came back to a ton of gold and XP the next day. But interestingly enough, if you buy if you ever buy this gem deal like I did, it was just a bad decision, an utter trap, because from level 10 you're generating more gold back than you would be from just buying the gold, as well as everything else, the mortal godstones, the potential character drops you can get rares to drop. The XP obviously is very, very good, and you can also get the gear ascension or the gear upgrade materials. Only the lowest the lowest tier ones, I think, but it's still enough to get all of your gear to level 8, and you will have mountains of it by the time you start picking up the gear. And then you will also have a lot of gear that you can be very picky with your primary stats and potentially look for good substats as well. But yeah, so just to showcase the rest of it as well. So the goal return from farming Aru 10 versus the 2,500 gem calendar. This 10 million, I wouldn't really put too much stock in it, because you get 3 million on the last day. So you essentially get 7 million for most of the beta. And then on the last day, you get an injection of gold, which realistically I don't think people will need, because they will be farming higher stages of the campaign and just generating a ton of returns. But even in that, the XP you get for your account from doing this Aru 10 farm will push you well high up into the levels, so you'll be generating more back anyway. So I can never see this coming out as less efficient than this. So again, while I've marked this orange, I don't think in reality you would end up getting less. You'd probably end up somewhere between 10.5 and 11.6 million. And then this is the XP returns for doing these gem deals as well. So this is the extra XP you would get at level 10. Realistically, you'd end up somewhere around here. So I missed out on 18.4 million XP, as well as all the godstones to pull more units, more uncommons, more rares that I could then either ascend up to use them or bring them down into souls, so that it makes it easier to get more 5-stars on the account. So yeah, I think that pretty much answers the question. Did I put anything else here? No. So we'll go back into the game. So yeah, it answers the question. The shop not that it's a bait. I think this being the most efficient way to get energy in the game for rubies, abuse it while it's here. I can imagine it'll be fixed to be more in line with the energy refills, or maybe it won't. It's definitely changed my thinking as well on the gold bazaar, which I'll go through as well before finishing up. These ancestral packs I now see as a lot less valuable as well. If you pour the, say, 2.4k into ancestrals, you will generate so many mortal godstones that you will probably pull 30 rares, maybe 1 or 2 epics, and if you're super lucky and a lottery winner, you can get a legendary. So I think you'd pull, I don't know the maths on this and I don't know the drop rates, but I would imagine you would pull a few hundred godstones, the green ones. So I can't see this being actually a better buy for your account, other than the fact that it's just a lot more fun to pull the blue shards than the green ones. But yeah, so how does this change my opinion on the bazaar? So as you can see, since doing the maths, I went in and I started buying. The most efficient things to buy, I think, are the greater spirit cache. It costs you so much to make a 4-star food that if you're farming campaign and generating all the gold that you get from it, this million is not, it's not a real million, because the odds, does it show me? So if you get the 1 4-star, the cost of leveling a, let me just find a level 1 filter. So if I wanted to promote this guy to level 5 or 4, because it gives you a 4-star soul, it's 169,000 experience, but also you have to pay experience for these. So you wouldn't have to pay experience for these or these, but you'd need to level up 3-star foods as well, which all cost XP. So 54,000 by 3 plus 169. So it's about nearly 400,000 experience. You're saving as well from just buying directly. Gold should not be an issue if you're doing this. So yeah, it's definitely opened up my purchasing on the gold bazaar. I do think pretty much everything on the top row is worth it. What can I get for this actually? Yeah, so potentially farming campaign and coming in here and dropping 150k and hoping for the god steal is just better. Fantastic. Let's do it again. Not as fantastic, but we'll take it. Unbelievable. Okay, so and then the Rivenite is definitely worth it based on the data I've looked at. So we're just going to buy this up and we can farm the account. But yeah, so absolutely think the gold bazaar has massively increased in its value now that I've seen the actual numbers and what we get from spending our gems. I would still avoid these because it's you're playing the lottery. And actually we can purchase this as well because this is worth it. If we hit a 4-star, we didn't, but still I'm still coming out ahead, I would assume, because gold isn't the issue I'm facing. It's actually having the spirits and the enough godstones to actually munch up into my 5 stars and the XP. So yeah, I hope this has helped. Hopefully it helps you improve your account and you take it on board and start spending your gold in the bazaar because it is the best deal in the game. But yeah, I'll see you for the next video. I'm thinking of doing just a general kind of progression and account building video just to showcase or just to show people how I have done it, and hopefully you get some tips from it and potentially pick up some pointers for when the game goes into full release. And yeah, it'll be something there to for anyone who hasn't seen the game before it comes out and is interested, they can have a look and see what I did and either decide to do the same thing or go their own way. It's up to them. But I will see you in the next video. Peace.